Hi, my name is Shreya, and welcome to my podcast, All About Her, where a confused high schooler, aka me, interviews influential women to learn about their experiences and advice for girls like me. Today, I'll be speaking to a woman who is a data scientist, STEM advocate, and strategic innovator at STEMi Makers in Africa, an organization focused on spreading STEM-related knowledge throughout Africa's youth. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome our very first international interviewee from Nigeria, Amanda Obidike, and let's jump right in. So, thank you so much for joining me today. Would you mind just explaining a little bit about your background and kind of what you specialize in?
Okay, so first things first, my name is Amanda Obidike, and I am from Lagos, Nigeria. So I serve as the strategy lead and director of STEMi Makers Africa. It's a non-profit organization that focuses on addressing the underrepresentation of women and girls in STEM, and also ensuring that youth have the right skills, especially 21st century skills, to be more experienced for our workforce. So my academic background actually differs from what I do now because I studied business management in school. I know probably because I didn't have a mentor who could direct me on, give me like insights on what I can do best. So along the line, I delved into data science when I found out that my country needed employing a lot of expatriates on data science field and other technical fields. So it has been a wonderful journey because I have met wonderful people who are happy to share resources, ideas, knowledge, just to ensure that I can move from point A to point B.
So going from business to data science, was there really any difference in the genders that participated in both? Were there relatively the same number of men and women in both fields, or did you see kind of a difference?
Well, for business management, when I was in the university, we had a lot of women in business management fields. I can say that why we had like an increase in women is because a typical Nigerian family, delves into business. So we are this entrepreneurial kind of country. But on the other way around, when I got into data science or even technology, we found out that there are very less women. There are more men and very less women. I remember my data science class that I had. We were over 42. I can tell you that 36 were men and, just 6 of us were women. So you can see that there is this gender divide and it's so glaring amongst these two fields.
Yeah, that's really crazy actually, because usually I think this is one of the first times that I've actually seen in business that there are a lot of women participating. I never really heard of that because here in the United States, at least, in business as well, it's mainly a male-dominated field. So that's really interesting to hear. What exactly, I guess, caused you to pursue business or data science, though? Like, how did you find those passions in your life?
Okay, so when I got into business management, like I earlier shared, typically families, are really entrepreneurial. One of my inspiration for going into that field was my parents. My parents were business people. My dad was like into automobile sales. My mom was just like a petty trader. So that inspiration was there. But I feel that it was a way of limiting my brain power because, this is like a hands-on experience that I can always get from there because, when I was even in university, I get to come back, go to their shops, help them out. So it wasn't really necessary, going to study business management. I realized this after I graduated and I found out that there was no job for people who had business management. So it's either you were finishing with a business management course and starting your business than, being employed. So, it really affected me for months. Going to a year, I had no job. But, it was a way of reflecting and looking at what does my country need, what are the gaps, and how can I fill it. And that was fast forward 2018. A friend, just recommended me to a program on data science, and I needed to take the exam. But I was really reluctant then because I didn't have like a computer science background. I was coming from social science and all. So it was really tough, but I know that it was a step I needed to take, to make my life better and, to avoid staying at home because as at that time, I was already getting so depressed. I was so worried, like how time is flying and I'm not being relevant. But, like I said, it's been a wonderful journey because even in the data science, there is opportunity to grow. We are learning not just on data science, we're learning on machine learning, artificial intelligence, data algorithm, and the rest. So it's been great anyway.
Yeah, so through all these struggles and I guess the learning curve, how did you stay motivated? Because it's so hard, even in high school now, trying to figure out where I want to be in the future or where my interests lie, and it's just so easy to get discouraged even now. So I can't even imagine going from one completely different field to another. How did you stay motivated?
Oh, well, that's a really interesting question because as at one point in time, I was so afraid, afraid to fail because, I didn't have like a background and I was so scared. I was like, am I competent enough and all? But one of the things that, motivated me was having friends and mentors around. During the data science course that I took, I learned to reach out to people like who could serve as mentors. Now, mentors, I mean, is giving me that support, giving me that confidence because I realized that even if we have that capacity, we don't have that confidence. We look and we demean ourselves and our capacity. And, continuously they kept on, giving me certain kind of praises, encouraging me, okay, Amanda, you can do this. Why don't you try this? Take time out, relax, So that it was like an emotional therapy because I had people by my side, and it has really reflected on what I share with people today. I keep telling people, get yourself a mentor or get yourself a peer that understands you. You can relate to each other, you can share your stories, you can motivate one another. I know we need it, especially now, during apart from COVID, the whole world, is getting bizarre. We all need that motivation, to give ourselves.
So, kind of just taking a step back from that, when you were younger, I know you mentioned that kind of in your family, business was a thing that most people did. Did you always, I guess, see yourself running a business when you were younger, or going to business school, or did you have any other dreams or aspirations when you were younger, maybe?
Yes, I always, imagined that I would start like a business, and afterwards it could move to be an industry and all because in Nigeria we have a lot of opportunities. Nigeria is a really we consume a lot, and because of we don't have the capacity to produce a lot of things are being imported from China. I saw myself, filling that gap and say, what I look forward to in the future, building these things here where people can consume. But earlier when I was 4, 5 years, I always have this dream. Some people think it's silly, but it's it's something that I still hope that anything can happen, in the future. I used to see myself being like working in the Central Bank of Nigeria, like a governor of Central Bank of Nigeria. It's a huge dream, but I see myself being like an economist to my country, and help to manage funding, help to manage the economy, development, and all. So yeah.
I don't really know much about the schooling in Nigeria, but from my experiences here, they really they try to help you figure out what your careers and your passions are here in the United States. But did your schooling experience in Nigeria ever help you kind of diversify or figure out what you want to do, or was it all just very straightforward and kind of predetermined, I guess? How exactly was your schooling experience?
Yeah, it's let me to be truthful, it was terrible because and we see it still existing now in the country. The good thing about the US is they have support programs for teenagers and youth, to help them navigate on, best careers. And most times I see some documentaries on how they help students align if they have, like a talent or certain skills. But we don't see it here, and it's really, it has affected our system. You find out that our system is so fragmented, our education system, and it's telling on our job markets because now students are not directed or advised on, what they can do or what best they can fit into. At the end of the day, they delve into courses that, after 4 years or 5 years, they come out from the university, and they're either looking out for jobs or they're either looking out for ways to be relevant. So at the end of the day, most of them start enrolling for part-time courses on, say, any other thing, and also before you know it, the time has already been wasted. We don't see that happen here. But there was this program that we initiated last year, and then we opened it up for girls because we find out that a lot of girls are really deprived. It's a mentoring program, and it's a way of bringing in professionals in different fields to talk to girls, and also a way of making these women to serve as role models. So girls can see them and say, oh, wow, I really want to be like you. I want to learn this and all. So in a way, you are giving them that clear vision, on how they can move forward. But overall, and answering your question, we don't see that unfortunately happening in the Nigerian education system, which is pretty sad.
That's incredible though that this initiative is being taken because just from me running this podcast, I myself have learned so much from all of these different fields and different women in STEM fields and beyond. And I think taking the time to really understand that women need to see other women doing things to be motivated because it's really hard to find that in this world today. So, did you, when you were growing up, have any female role models of such that in your school, maybe your teachers, that motivated you to continue and I guess serve as a role model for you?
Yeah. So, I was so introverted in school, and it really affected me because then I didn't have friends, I didn't have who to talk to. I was just like a loner. But that's not too good. But yeah, we were talking about, okay, whether there was someone I looked up to. I was always looking up to my mom because most times we always get to see each other. Whatever challenge I had, I always got to tell her, and I know for a fact that she did her best in giving me an advice. So the advice may not be career aligned because she didn't have a career. She was just doing business. So it's just like a motherly advice, a motherly support. But if it was to talk about like academic support or like career support, I didn't have that from her. But I found out that as I grew up, I needed to attach myself. I needed to identify with women, in that field who I admire and, who are also accessible. Because it's one thing to have women that you want them to mentor you. It's another thing for them to be accessible because you don't want to have a mentor that randomly you don't get to talk to or you can't, reach out to because she is busy. So that was those were one of the things I looked out for, just to ensure that my path into technology is, well aligned.
So you also do a lot of advocacy work, like you said at the beginning, revolving women in STEM and just STEM fields in general in education. So what do you think are the biggest issues that are kind of preventing certain groups of people that are mainly underrepresented in STEM fields from actually pursuing what they want to do? I know we kind of touched a little bit of this throughout the podcast so far, but is there anything else that you think is really inhibiting that?
Yes, yes. So, for example, a continent like Africa or a country like Nigeria, we have cultural bias. There are a lot of stereotypes existing because I can tell you for a fact that there are some parts of Nigeria, the northern region, who believe that girls going to school is a problem or is an atrocity. So, is that bad? Because now you are trying to ensure that you are letting these decision makers know that these girls need to go to school or to dream or to be what they want to be. So we find out that there is a lot of cultural, this thing existing. But we try to design programs around it to ensure that we can reach these girls. We can also make sure that we are able to let these decision makers know that it's really important to give these girls the opportunity the same way they give the men the opportunity. Then another one is policies. We don't have favorable policies that are inclusive, like I said. So there are a lot of policies that rather favor men or the male gender than favoring young girls. So we see these things happen, and it's existing, and you're asking yourself, technology is changing everything, advancement is coming, so why are we still, backward? Well, these factors are, always serves as stumbling blocks. But what I've realized is I would like to, and that's what we are doing, is about collaborating with decision makers because we cannot just randomly, reach out to them. We try to have a dialogue around it to ensure that they see our reasons, and it's also when they are empowered, like women, the economy or their community is also empowered. So yes, it's tough though, but we can only try.
So the last
Yeah.
kind of thing that I always like to ask the women that I interview is there any advice that you have for girls that want to pursue a STEM field or any field really, and they're struggling, or just anyone in general who is just struggling to be able to pursue what they want to?
Yes. Okay. So I have what I usually tell girls. First of all, I tell them that you have to be free to dream. You have to be free to excel. You see that right now women are championing change all over. You can hear about the Nobel laureate women, who they defiled science and all. You see Kamala Harris, for example. We see a lot of things that are happening. So it's a way of motivating them that if these women are doing this, you can do this. And one of the ways is about being open to learning. Reach out to women, reach out to, even if they are not so professional, there is something you see in them that you feel inspired. Ask them questions, network as much as possible because, we are not, no man is an island, we are not alone. You can always draw knowledge from women A, women B, or from different countries. So it's a way of never being tired to learn and also get yourself a mentor. Sometimes, I know that there are a lot of women that may find it awkward to say, I cannot be a mentor. But you can always job shadow. You can always randomly follow them on social media, follow their work, and either you comment or you ask them questions. I'm sure that they'll be willing to answer. And also engage with social media, like platforms like yours, that have podcasts that get to bring in women who can talk about their work. They could always get to listen to platforms like yours and other podcasts, to draw insights and hear our stories. We didn't just start like that. We didn't just come into limelight. We had our struggles, we had our challenges. So those challenges should be able to shape theirs, into a better future. So yeah, that's just what I have to share.
That's absolutely
Thank you,
incredible,
Shreya.
Amanda. Thank you so much again for joining me today and for taking the time. I know it's really, really late for you right now, but thank you for joining me. And I really learned a lot from today's talk with you. So thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. I really do appreciate this. Keep the work going, and I know you will excel. Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It was so interesting to learn about STEM in a completely different country, and what blew my mind even more was the similarities between gender disparities in both countries. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Make sure to check out Amanda's LinkedIn and follow me on Instagram for updates about the show. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay strong, and stay sassy. Happy President's Day!